Spilled some water. Hi, I'm Leathur Rokk. I'm live on Atlantic City, and I got a little mousey, and I got a little rainbow unicorn. And I like rainbows, and I like unicorns, and he's cute horsey face. And I found these. But you want to know what I don't have? Where is Garfield? Let's play a little game, shall we? It's called I Got a Missing Cat. Now, I left here. When I left the stream, I went on the boardwalk and I had myself an adventure. I might have engaged in a little cannabis inhalation. Yes. I may have hung out with some fun people. I may have laughed my ass off. And, or I'll tell you all about it. And finally, my first friend was ready to go to sleep and he found a place where people were sleeping behind the stage on the boardwalk in front of Boardwalk Hall. And apparently, cops are turning in a lenient attitude to it as long as people were waking out of there by 6 in the morning. So, so people would be getting ready to go to sleep. And a person's starting to fall asleep. And I'm getting ready to go, right? And then all of a sudden somebody else shows up and then they start talking. So we talk another hour. Okay, they're ready to go to bed. And they thought I was gonna stay there and they didn't know that I actually had a place to live. So I'm on going down the road and then Tropicana. There was a bit of social scene. You see where this is going, right? And picked up a couple roaches on the way. All right. And I have this friend. He has been on one of my live streams before, the one where he was near Tropicana and he threw himself down on the boardwalk and he started flopping around like a fish. And a cop that was around actually came up to make sure that he wasn't actually having a seizure or something. And we explained we were just horsing around for video. And anyway, he was out there and he was smoking out of a pipe that he'd made out of foil. And there's a lot of times people for years they were saying that possible exposure to tinfoil could be a precursor to getting early Alzheimer's disease, and none of us want that, obviously. If you ever love somebody who's had any form of dementia, and I'm not talking about our president, my father ended up with Alzheimer's, so it's really not a joke, and it's sad to see somebody's mind starting to go. And you can't control the things that various people have done in our past, but you can certainly take charge of your own health, and if that means not making damn pipes out of foil, when you can get a glass pipe for real cheap at the dollar stores for like $2, they're so much cheaper than they used to be. And I always usually have my little glass device with me and so we're smoking there with him near Tropicana, just on the other side of where I got jacked up by the cops the last time. And this guy was so funny tonight. By the way, had quit drinking a couple months ago, so he was only on either the pot he smoked, and I don't know if he's prescribed certain antipsychotics for his issues because the guy if we were dining at McDonald's, he'd be missing at least three-quarters of a Happy Meal, and I say that very affectionately because he's a good guy and he's an artist and it's fun, and he had me laughing so hard. He was First of all, his humor was of the Buddy Hackett variety, and if any of you know anything about Buddy Hackett, even though he may have been an actor on certain things, movies that we've all known and loved, many of which were kind of family friendly. However, apparently he had a very blue after midnight casino review where his act was very pornographic and X-rated and potty humor and stuff. Nothing that my mother would ever go through. My mother and father went to see him once, and they didn't know that he was so blue. And my father was embarrassed and walked out. Okay, so and my father was not approved like my mom is. Okay, and this was years ago. Because how long Hackett's been dead? Anyway, this guy was funnier than him because this guy is gay, and his humor was very gay and very dirty and funny as hell. And I was laughing so hard, tears were streaming down my face. And plus, we were smoking weed, and he was so funny. I can't repeat not even 5% of what he told me. But plus, he had some references to when Atlantic City had a club scene on New York Avenue. There were very special places like Studio 6 and the Entertainers Lounge, and just all these different, even bars that my mother had been in when she wasn't even 21, because she was a college. She went to college and then she got a job as a high school English teacher. And we are live. Hey, Joe. And my mom, there was this bar called the Brass Rail, and my mom used to drink there underage. She said beers, short beers, were like 35 cents. This was many moons ago. Okay. And my mom hadn't had she had her last drink when she was like 26 years old. All right. So she wasn't a recent drinker or anything. And my father, he's the one that liked to have cocktails. And my mom, she never gave my father any issue because he was a good man, and he only got real drunk where she locked him in the bathroom one time. And after that, there was never any problem. And he only went to the racetrack to play the horses one time with the right money. And after that, he bring home his paycheck. She make sure all the bills are paid and stuff. And great death to his part thing. I miss my dad. So anyway, where we're going with this is this guy, my friend, my gay friend, whose name I keep on forgetting. I think it was Robert. He made me laugh so hard. And it was like the icing on a perfect chocolate cake that had strawberries on it. And it's chocolate icing and a chocolate cake. And maybe how's about German chocolate? If it has like a glaze on it and it has walnuts on it or pecans. I just don't forget the shaved coconut. Because sometimes you feel like you're not, sometimes your friends are. But I had such a good day. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's getting kind of late. In Garfield, I'm leaving him here, and we don't have a litter box here, right? So I'm thinking I better get my ass home. So on my way home, I decided around the corner. See anybody with any ground scores for me or anybody, I didn't find anything. Okay, that's fine. I had a great day. So I come home. We have a little predicament. If you should see here, where is Garfield the cat? He's not under my bed. He's not in the kitchen trying to catch a mouse. He's not in the hallway. He doesn't seem to be anywhere in my house. He's not in the little bathroom. And I don't know if he's in my mother's room because right now my mother and the other person who lives here are talking. Thinking maybe my mother went to the little bathroom and she saw Garfield. He sometimes hangs out a little bit near that door before you go downstairs. And maybe she sometimes thinks that he needs to go to the bathroom and she just tells me they need to be let out. But the thing is, my mother, she has pain all the time, and it's not easy for her to go all the way down steps and up and down. So, still, I'd like to know where is Garfield? But then I heard some talk and some laughing coming from my mother's bedroom. And I like to be a busybody sometimes because information, knowledge is power. So I'm listening in and I hear some laughter, and I hear the cat made his way down the hall, went into my mother's room. Then the other person that lives here came home from whatever he was doing today. And his door must have been open, and the cat is walking around down the hall. And luckily, Garfield is known as a neighborhood cat, and most people have pet him and stuff, including, yeah. So apparently, Garfield found the other two people that I live with and has been spending time with them and is either in my mother's room or down at my nemesis. But one thing I could say about him is he loves animals. He would never hurt an animal. He loves dogs. He loves cats. The only thing is he doesn't love our mice. He will sadistically kill a mouse. He doesn't care if a mouse gets caught in a glue trap. He has stepped on them. He likes setting the snap traps around, and he doesn't know, or maybe he might know that I have saved as many mice as I can because you don't need to be cruel. We all know this. But anyway, I have reason to believe Garfield is safe visiting somebody here. So he's still here. And he's never shit in the house. He peed one time. I told you about it. And it was just a little bit went airborne and a little bit went on my bed. And I haven't smelled any evidence of anything. And I've been washing everything that I can. So I think everything is okay. But yes, the other person that we live with, he is a sadist when it comes to mice. One time he threw a dead mouse outside when the church was going on, and the people downstairs got so pissed. But when I found out, and I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about certain people, but I had a good laugh about that. And my mom, she was telling me about it, and I high-fived her, and I said, "You know what? Don't tell him I said so, but I admire that." You know. But the thing is, another time, the reason why I got in trouble with the preacher of the Sunday morning church is one time the person that lives here, he threw, he apparently keeps urine in soda bottles. That's a man thing, apparently. I can understand if you're in a squat and you need to have some way to defend yourself from people breaking in by throwing piss bottles on. But other than that, really, you shouldn't be saving your own urine. Unless there's some fancy drug use for it that I don't know about. Besides, I know if you eat certain kind of mushrooms, you can pee on it and supposedly drink your own pee and trip again. I heard some people in Alaska and stuff do that, but anyway. Bottom line, where was I going with this? I am kind of stoned. Anyway, yeah, I think Garfield's okay. And the guy was talking about how when he saw somebody moving in his room, at first he said he thought it was a big rat or something. But then he saw that it was Garfield and he's fine with it. So that means maybe I will be able to set up a litter box. And this makes me one step closer to adopting him for real. Which is, my intent. Of course, I'd also like to get the Heart-Nosed Cat. You guys haven't seen him yet. Those two are friends. And the Heart-Nosed Cat's also fixed. The Heart-Nosed Cat has a white nose with a black heart on it. And it's real soft and fuzzy. It has a silver tabby with a lot of white in them, but mostly the black and white stripes. Very soft, very cuddly. But he's still a little skittish and is not letting me pick him up yet. And even when I pet him, I have to do a very passive pet, like where you let your hand dangle when a cat's rubbing up against you and you touch very discreetly. And a couple days ago, when I went to retrieve Garfield, he wasn't on the steps to the houses, which makes me feel more comfortable because I don't like walking on somebody's porch, unless they're not home or they're way inside and they hopefully don't have cameras where they should know by now that I'm not a dirtball, right? So usually I put a couple of either treats or pieces of dry cat food, and Garfield goes, especially if he's out of the way where I don't want to walk. I'm not going to go onto somebody's porch, especially if he's not close to the steps, but he's over to the side. I'm going to put some food for him to, and then he'll come over, and then sometimes I put 1, 2 down, and then when he's easy for me to grab, I hold him and I carry him down. But this particular time, he was on the sidewalk next to a vacant lot, right? He was easy for me to get, right? But this time, he was backing away and trotting away from me where I'm getting near him. I'm thinking, there's no way. There's no reason for Garfield to do this. I have never given him any reason to distrust me. I spoil that cat rotten. You know I do. He has temptation treats here. He's got some Friskies. He's got whatever scraps of meat that I have in the fridge. He has gotten fish. He has gotten mackerel. He's gotten ground beef, Salvation Army meat that I rinse off so it doesn't have salt and spices and stuff. Come on. I spoil my cats. I have dug in trash cans at certain places I'm not going to name. Whereas I don't. Sometimes I'll usually make it a little quiet announcement that this is for the street cats, so that people don't think that I'm desperate taking food out of trash cans. Now, I'm not judging. There are people that I know that do that, but still, there's no reason why you should have to do that in a casino town that has all this food and people leave food deliberately in front of casinos so that people who are hungry can find food. There's no reason to be hungry. But still, cat food, sometimes if you're out of cat food, you're going to get any kind of meat you can for it. Am I right? So anyway, so that was my day. And the thing is, the day started out good, even though I'm still bemoaning the fact that I'm not allowed to be out there with my guitar. And I saw people panhandling there tonight. It was a beautiful night. I had mist on it. It was overcast all day. I never had very intense sun, even though I did carry an umbrella during the day. I didn't bring it out at night, obviously, but and I made sure that we are not going to get a thunderstorm tonight. But tomorrow we're supposed to have a thunderstorm. I am definitely afraid of lightning. I will not be out in the lightning. And that's another reason why I resent that the cops not only want me to get this stupid fucking license, this permit, and it won't let me be where I want to be, where I feel safe. If I'm all the way past resorts, first of all, I can't get a good Wi-Fi signal. I wouldn't be able to live stream. You have all these businesses blasting their pop music from the radios that they played, t-shirt shops, or even the casinos like Bally's. It's really loud until about maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, three. Then it gets quiet, and I love that it's brightly lit in front of there. I love that. But you would often have either a guy blasting a loud boombox and dancing. There's this guy; he's a real good, better than James Brown dancer, and he's got one of these Wake the Dead big speakers that's louder than the clouds. And the thing is, maybe he has a permit. I don't know. But the thing is, say you get the permits, they don't let you go down near Tropicana where I wanted to be. They don't let you be right in front of Boardwalk Hall, in front of the stage. Another place I really like to be. I felt safe there. If the thunder and lightning was all of a sudden start, because if you're around a whole bunch of buildings and you're nowhere near a place where you could see where the storms are coming in from the bay or something, you could get caught by surprise. If I was clear up by resorts and I finally saw flashes of lightning and I'm running down the boardwalk, and they're replacing a lot of sections of the boardwalk, so newer wood gets a lot more slippery. I always liked the old wood better because it absorbed the water. You slip and fall on that, and imagine you're carrying a guitar. It's not in a case. People slip and fall on that boardwalk all the time, and you get caught in those screws that are still up there. People wearing flip flops, even sneakers. I saw so many people slip and fall on their asses when I be out there with my guitar, and especially they have a couple of drinks in them. But no, got to pay over $300 to get this stupid permit. And one of the things about this permit is you got to get fingerprinted, got to get a background check. Now, in order to get a background check and pass it, you can't have a bunch of tickets for getting caught playing guitar without a license. They treat it like it's a vagrancy. I was threatened with $1,000 in fines. I was told this 4 or 5 times. It's not like one off by one asshole cop whose last name is Pincus, redhead guy with a goatee. I gave a dummy up business card, not the fancy ones that Tiger had made for me, but just something where I wrote my name on a plain cardboard that I cut off of some bullshit, right? And I handed it to a nicer cop one time when I saw a group of cops. I said, "Look, I keep on getting jacked up by some of your fellows, and okay, I understand that you're just enforcing the law." I said, "But I am in a financial situation where my mother is really strapped right now, and she's asking me for help. The only way I can help her is to have income coming in. You have people panhandling, you have people prostituting themselves, you have people selling crack and heroin and speed and God knows what tickets. Still don't know what they are. It's not for Aerosmith, I can tell you that. But oh God forbid you're out there. And to have us, they say not only where you have to be, but the hours that you are allowed to be there. And since I have to stay out of the sun, I can't be there till at least like 5 o'clock in the afternoon generally, right? And there is no shade up there. There's no quiet up there. There's no Wi-Fi up there. I don't feel safe up there. You've got aggressive panhandlers who, most of which are men, but not all. There's a couple of crazy ass women that walk up and down like, do you have a dog? Do you have a cigarette? You people who come to Atlantic City to gamble and enjoy the things we have to offer, you don't like to be bothered by people. You don't like to be bothered by crazies and drunks. But do you have this? Do you have that? Or there's another racket where people who really aren't intending to do this will say, "I'll pay you $1 for a cigarette," knowing that most people will just hand it to them just to be nice. And that guitar player guy I know, Fuzzy, who, if you watch videos about this town, you've probably seen him in videos. He does the White Trash Lady song and tries to say that he did it. I filmed him 4 different times doing that song. I can never get a perfect rendition of it because he mumbled his way through it because he had a lot of drinks. Okay, hey, whatever, that's his trip. But when you lie to somebody and you say the song you're doing is your song and you didn't live it, and hey, Fixamoto, I need to get Crocs. I want to get okay. I got I got these ugly ass Crocs that have a little problem. They got a hole in the sole. And I'm thinking I could put a piece of double rug tape, cover it here from the inside, and then take another piece or a piece of cardboard and then a piece of tape and put it there. And that'll give me maybe another year. because there's nothing like Crocs when you're going to be on the beach. I had two pairs of shoes that had sand in them. So when I went to go to the Trump rally, at first they told us it was going to be at the convention center, and then I was thinking how small capacity that Wildwood Convention Center is. If you've ever been inside here, I went to a record collectors convention once, 18 years ago, and I don't remember a whole lot of details about how big it was, except it wasn't. It didn't seem like a lot of people. Um, I don't even know how it compares to the Ocean City Music Hall or what's it called at the pier where I've seen a couple of bands, but not recent. Um, but they chose to move it to the beach, which obviously was a perfectly logical thing to do because look at how you get 100,000 people. You're not going to get it in any convention center around here. And I mean, they blew the minds of people when they found out how many was there. There were so many. There was literally, I'm seventh row. I saw the man really, like I said, he is real. He exists. He's not just some robot on a TV screen. The man is real. I saw him with my own eye. I felt his energy. I was just so happy to be there. But I hadn't anticipated that I was going to get sand on my shoes. And so I went on my way to bring a pair of shoes that I recently acquired. They weren't brand new shoes. They were some pair of shoes that somebody donated that I thought was pretty cool. And I got that. I figured they have a lot of blue in them. They'll go with my Trump shit, right? But so they move us on to the beach. So I got sand already. But you know what? Am I complaining? Hell no. Because I got to see Trump. And I was trying to take pictures with that tablet. This tablet. This, I don't know what the fucking brand is. Tablet that I got on Timu. Or was it Wish? I forget. Timu, I mean, maybe. Um, and I could not. And somebody had given me the power brick, so I figured I'd be able to have it charged, right? But I could not seem to see when the video was playing because the glare. I could not tell. Apparently, when the video thing was on, maybe there was a little red indicator, but I honestly couldn't see it. I put a few more beads in it today. Um, it probably looks trashed as all fuck, but you know what? I love it. And I love it having all the way too, but I knew there was no way that I would have time to put all the braids back in it in time for Trump. And plus I like the option of being able to wash my hair. I mean, when you know that you can't wash your hair, that's one thing, but when you want to be able to wash it, and it's just when your hair is fully braided, you don't want to get a lot of friction on it because pulls the hair out and it makes it turn into felt. It dreads it up at the scalp, okay? And as you could see, my redheadness is obviously showing. But one good thing is when months go by, it makes it so much easier to put sunblock on and put makeup on and do that because you can move your hair away from your scalp. And that is so key. One thing that gets on my nerves about braids, how I'm done, is the ones that hang over my eyebrows. It rubs my makeup off and it drives me. It really gets annoying. Because all of a sudden, I have one perfect eye and one eye it's missing part of the eyebrow because it rubbed my makeup off. So I'm thinking maybe catch it back. So I like that these, you can tie them, you can make pigtails with them, and you could do a lot with them. I could tie them all the way up on my head. And I love doing this because it gives me the comfortable, But I really like it when you take them out and it gets all kinky and beautiful and stuff. But I have a crimping iron now. So I'll be able to do that look again. I used to do that so much in LA. Or I would crimp it first and then I'd tease it up real big and stuff. But when you're living by the ocean, like it is here, the humidity, first of all, it would react with the hairspray that's already in your hair. And it would harden in your hair. And then it would make it ultimately harder to brush out. And the humidity, oftentimes, when you're living right on the ocean, it just seems to react with the teas up here. And then when the wind blows the sand gets in your scalp and it gets itchy and it gets in your head and stuff. And since you can't wash teased up here, you have to actually brush it out. It's a pain in the ass. And plus, I'm in New Jersey, where it's one thing if I'm creating content. Like I'm on YouTube, I want to look good, so I care more about my image, almost to the extent when I'm in LA, and I try to never let myself go there because I could always get work on a movie set, and you have to look the same for the duration of the shoot. If it's say if it's a nightclub scene, then yeah, because you got to make, say you can make a whole month shooting just for one day, and so you have to wear the same exact thing, and you have to look as much as possible for continuity. And then if it's a production where you're in a bunch of scenes and there's a timeline, then of course you'll have the wardrobe for that, and you have to have keep the makeup for that, and just make sure that you're consistent. But my hair has been purple since when I would take Kool-Aid and I were food coloring, I'd mix it with hair conditioner in high school, and I would put it on my bleach blonde hair. And that was how I first dyed my hair. Then when I went to beauty school, after I graduated high school, I learned the proper way to dye hair, and I learned basics of hair cutting and certain things. The braiding I didn't learn in school. I had some girl do it for me when I was 15 in high school. And once somebody's done something for you, if you pay attention to it, it's easy to learn. And so I do all my own stuff. It saves going and pay somebody a bunch of $100 to do it or however much it is. I'm sorry, I would not spend the money. Number one, that's a lot of money to me. I would like to be doing it, but I don't have a license. You know? But anyway, whatever footage is in this, I got this memory card. And like I said, I tried to stick it in this computer to think I would get these images and some video, whatever I shot hanging out. But got some weird error message that I don't quite remember exactly what it was, but it's something about going into settings and approving it, but that's not the word, for export. And the thing is, when I went to the little class that I took to learn how to use this thing, you think I remember anything? No, no. I remember how to turn it on, and you have to press the button for a while. And the thing is, having it on the charger for a week, it should be charged. And I press this down. Now, do you see anything about the battery? Oh, if you lie on me. Oh, no. Is there anything? Oh, no, that's just my reflection. Okay. You don't see anything about a battery. So, anyway, she had already done something on the card to make it so that it's the kind for export, not just in here. So, that should theoretically mean all I have to do is stick it in here. But if this has to be working first, and say it's not working, what about the stuff that's on that card? Seems to me I should be able to stick that card anywhere and see the images because there's pictures I took showing how big the crowd is. There's pictures I took for some of my friends that I just met there because I met a lot of people. But I don't know how to charge this now because charging it on for a week didn't charge it. And if I could take it to Best Buy, I would. But I'm just going to wait until I run into somebody that knows more than I do, or maybe take it to the library again. It's not going to be tomorrow because we're supposed to have thunderstorms. Go. I don't go out when it's thunder and lightning. No way. The only time I was out when there's thunder and lightning is I was hanging out with the Proud Boy, who are not racist. Proud Boys are not racist. Hello, I know you watching me know, but just in case there's a few liberals that like to go to Trump themed streams to I don't know, maybe they don't know about things. I can't show him because he is down the hall. You know what? Maybe I should ask him about Garfield. I want to find out. Allow me. Allow me. Maybe I get to sneak. Mom, I need to talk to you about something. I'm missing a friend. Care to tell me something, please? I'm curious. No, well, tell me. Okay.
I know attention was drawing away from me, and I heard him in his.
Well, turn your TV up down, please.
Hey, buddy, who are you? Where'd you come from? And I thought, oh no. I said, who are you talking to? Because I really wanted to meet him. He said, "Yeah, here."
There's a camera out here.
I said, "Oh, really? My God, I'm on a little island here by George." I said, "Oh, that's Garfield." I said, "He's a visitor." I said, "Your stupid sister must have let him in and forgot he was here and went off about her." So he came down the hallway to reach on, and he said, "Sean, so, and but Garfield went down the hall to the door. I said, well, he went down to the
You didn't let him out, did you? Oh, I thought you had him here. Well, I need to go find him. Everybody wants to see him.
Sean went and opened the apartment, and he walked down and let him out.
How long ago did you let him out?
About an hour.
Everybody wants to see him. Okay. All right. Well, all right. You heard this. All right. Now, for those of you that want to see Garfield the cat, he is gone. I thought maybe he was hanging out. Okay. The good thing is they're not tripping that the cat's hanging out here. Okay. But yeah, I checked my bed at first. I checked every place that I have access to. Obviously, his the other person's room I have no access to, and I stay away from. Obviously. But the cats always come and go as they please. And yeah, so that's the story about Garfield, and the story about how today ended up being a really good day. And I got something else to talk about. Um, you notice I don't have any fan running, even though I'm hot. Oh, well, and part of this, my live stream, I want to take a look at some of the goodies that I have in this ashtray here. And of course, I want to make sure that everything is, in fact, has weed in it. And one of the things that I thought was a roach a couple hours ago turned out to be full of tobacco, and that was a real disappointment. But um, but at least when you're finding your own, you know that it's real, right? Uh, and somebody left this behind the stage. It's a cash out voucher for 3 cents. Woohoo! I'm rich. I'm a money magnet. If you watch any of those subliminal audio and the affirmation videos on YouTube, they have the ones attracting money and stuff where you sleep to them. And so I think they help. I really think they help. Whenever some good luck thing happens to me, I like to give them credit. I'm gonna put him back over here. So, isn't it cool I have another mouse? I don't know, we're starting to run out of room for this little thing. It's just still. Mom got me this when we still lived in the inlet, and I had all those vegetables. This is supposed to stick on a stick, but whenever I try to balance on anything here, it just plops on the ground, and then I have to wash it because the ground's dirty. So I'm just gonna put my bat buddy here. Stay there. Oh, it is so hot in here. And I'm about to take a look at what I acquired on the boardwalk tonight. I'm glad I didn't bother wasting arm space bringing a little jacket or something because it's so humid out there. And a couple of times I got panicky because I saw this flash and I thought it was lightning, right? And it turned out it was just reflection from some of the neon light shows or the advertisements on the boardwalk. Um, and the cops want me to be up past resorts where you got people sitting with their signs begging. And oh, and Fuzzy the guitar guy is still out there playing guitar. He's still getting drunk every day, but he doesn't have a hat out there. But whenever I didn't have a hat, I had real musicians. They would come up to me and they would say, "You got to have a hat out there or a cup or something so that people don't think you're just doing it just to do it, you know." And I saw one of the bicycle riders. There were so many people on bicycles today. I mean, lots and lots of them. I remember when it used to be you could only legally ride a bicycle between 6 and 10 a.m. because, to protect pedestrians and stuff. And now they're much more lenient. Sometimes a cop will tap people on the shoulder and tell them that they need to walk bikes because there's just so many pedestrian traffic, real heavy and stuff. But one of the bicycle riders, I recognize his face is somebody who tipped me. Well, the first day of the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that I was playing guitar up near Tropicana, and of course Wednesday I got jacked up. Well, Sunday, the best day of all of them because I only got 3 tips, but one of them was a humongous tip. I told you about that. And the guy that gave me that, he lives up by those fancy condominiums, and I think that was a guy. And he likes to. So now, I notice people, if you're wearing a sports thing, people like the team, they'll tell you. And if you're wearing the Trump stuff, people like stuff, they'll tell you. But a lot of times they're a lot quieter when you're admiring the Trump stuff. Nobody acts ashamed to be a Steelers fan or Pirates fan. So look what I found today. One of these actually I was given. This roach. And I found this roach. These are kind of deceptive because they start with that rolled paper, so it's got a filter, so it only has a wee little bit. This roach is actually fat. This was underneath a bench, and it was like I had to really make an effort. And in a short skirt, you got to be careful, how you bend over. But this skirt's very forgiving, and I like that it's kind of loose, so I could actually eat this with a full wear this with a full meal, and it's fine, and you can tuck shit in and stuff. And I love the shirt. I hardly ever wear this shirt because I was actually afraid YouTube flagged me for it because of what it says. But I got it in 2016 and I got it in Washington D.C. And you can't fuck with history. It's like tearing down the statues and stuff. You can't do it. I mean, people do. It's fucked up. Um, I got I got matches. And you guys know what time it is, right? Well, technically it is 2:30 in the morning. About to go to the shout out to the donators on the streets. Yes, all you people smoke your weed once, especially out of the bed. Throw them down there in the sand. That's good if we could see them. And then people step on them, and then people who can't, in good conscience, spend money on weed, and we find these things. And since the dealers around here stop dropping their shit because they have gotten resentful of those of us who ground score, and it's like, excuse me, you think everybody can drop $40 on an eight? Come on. And yes, some of their stuff is wonderful, but I've had some of their stuff that's shit too. But what they're smoking, when they drop the roaches, what is the chance that it's going to have fentanyl in it? Come on, I don't think people fentanyl their stuff that they're smoking. There may be one or few two that like to taint their own stuff, but I would think for the most part, even if they occasionally would be unscrupulous with some of their business dealings, I would think they would save the best for themselves and their friends, right? So if they're gonna throw those roaches down, and somebody like me can find them, and it's like sometimes they would drop them, and they'd be this big, and they'd be nice like that. And oh my goodness! Even after you take the wrappers off, oh man, they have good bud, sticky, skunky, wonderful bud, man. You know, and I'm very appreciative of that. And now people are telling me with all these dispensaries they have open, I should be checking all these other places. So I keep my eye down. My father even said, and of course he never liked me, he called it wacky. But he always said from the time I was knee high to grasshopper, he said, when you're walking down the street, keep an eye peeled for the ground. My father was the king of the ground scores when it was not called ground scores. He would find money so good. My father was good. Oh man. And yeah. And my father and I he used to take the metal detector when they'd be working on the boardwalk, and they didn't used to chain link fence and barricade exposed boardwalk back in the day. There was actually these just the supports and all this empty stuff, and you could go there with a shovel and put it through the chicken wire frame that Dad had, and you shake it, and the sand fall out, and whatever's in there, whether it's shells or whether it's coins or jewelry or whatever, and you fine tune the thing so it picks up certain metals and ignores the rest. And my father used to find all kinds of things. And people now are going under the boardwalk, and they're telling me that they're finding $20 bills under the boardwalk and stuff. You gotta, if you're hanging around there, but the thing is, you gotta have real good beach shoes, something that you don't mind being sandy. So that's again where the Crocs come in. And they're telling me there was a place on Atlantic Avenue here, I think Tennessee and Atlantic, where you can get $4 knockoff Crocs. I wonder if they still are selling. Because I really would like to get something that's not just black or some ugly color. I would love to get something with awesome pattern, like red, white, and blue would be great. Red, white, and blue tie dye. Then I have something for next Trump rally. And of course, something with purples and different things would be great, but not some real pale color that I think is not very attractive. It just makes me look like I have giant duck feet. You know, if it's even this light, I don't think it would look attractive. I did have a pair like that color, and people would tell me how ugly they were, and I knew it's like, dude, I don't need a mirror to tell if I'm wearing ugly shoes. But Crocs are very comfortable. Oh, dude, stick this in. Here's the here's the Gotta make sure that the screen's in. I don't understand people who don't put screens in their glass pipes. To me, that's just you need your screen. Sticky resonated bone. It's ugly ass. Look at that. Looks like it doesn't look appetizing. It doesn't even smell all that good, honestly, but you can tell that it's weed. And this particular one wasn't even in a tobacco wrapper, so it should not have any tobacco taste. And but these are paper matches. I'm thinking maybe it'd be better for me to just use the matches to light a candle first and then retouch that match to this because this might take longer time to hold the match to. Well, let's see how the matches are even. And plus, these are paper; they're not wooden ones. So, oh, I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my friends, his street sister in Philadelphia. She has a channel called South Philly Girl Fights, and it's about just what it implies. She's outside and she sees drunk girls getting into cat fights, and she films them and she puts it on YouTube. And I haven't checked it out myself. It's probably like a lower version of World Star Hip Hop. And if you're amused by any of that stuff, and I'll admit it's the sort of thing, if I happen to run across it, I can't turn away because you can't be out and about in the club scene and not see some funny stuff. And it reminds me that I'm glad I'm not drinking anymore. Okay, good. Now let's see. I'm trying to think of how much weed I smoked. I was so happy. I mean, when you know how sometimes you'll make a casual comment, like you run into a buddy and you say, "Oh man, I haven't smoked weed in like 4 days." I know that sounds like what 4 days you think that deal, but you know what? When you prefer to smoke every day and it's been a while, especially if you occasionally get arthritis, aches, and pains, and it turns out there are people that know their cannabis so well, they actually know what specific strains and whether it's an indica or a sativa are good for so many things that people go through, like aches and pains and different things, and depression. There's supposed to be things that are good for. I think the psych drug industry would go out of business if people knew that maybe if they found somebody who really, really knew their ins and outs. There are people that go to colleges. They have special courses that certain places, I think in Colorado, where you could learn, you could go to universities and you could get schooled on all kinds of scientific minutiae about cannabis. I think I enjoy marijuana. I'd like to think I know more than the average person, but there's still people who know a lot more. Like about until recently, I very rarely knew the names of anything I smoke. But now that we have legalization and people increasingly go to dispensaries, they get named stuff. Blue Dream. Mm. Is that one of the high THC ones? See, my tolerance is so high. There are some weed that I can hardly feel because I've been smoking since I smoked my very first time I ever smoked, I was 14. But I didn't feel my first high. But then 3 days later, I smoked again and I did feel it. And it was in the park across from the high school. And the high school does not exist anymore. It's moved offshore. And it really sucks because I have a high school that's near the boardwalk where everybody hangs out, where you could go and have these parties after school. Or if you have cool teachers who have, say you have a creative you have a friend who's an English teacher and he has a creative writing workshop once a month, let's say. And then after that lets out, then people go and party on the board. And I remember that. I remember somebody would have Bartles and James wine coolers, somebody would have a case of beer, and a few people would have weed. And it was just so, and somebody, at least one person would have a guitar, and maybe somebody would have a radio or boombox or something, and there'd be music, and people would have poetry, and some people would have written their songs. And man, and the only reason why I wasn't playing guitar in those days is because I was growing my real nails real long, and of course nobody wanted to pick me in gym class because when you have nails you can't play. And now that I don't have nails, I would love to play volleyball. But the thing is, I can't do it in the sun. But they have like midnight stuff I would love to do, especially if it's a beautiful, hot, balmy day and you can still wear your bikini and just play volleyball at midnight. I'm game. Yeah, they had a bunch of volleyball nets between Showboat and the ocean, but then they started having the seafood buffet, and now, of course, you got your entrance to the water park. That was so damn expensive. It was like what $99 a go in, and I heard they reduced the price, but still, the thing is, it's still got all that glass on it, and it still exposes you to the sun. So if a person say wanted to not be in the ocean, right, exposed to everything because they wanted the thrills of the water experience without sun exposure. You know how hard it is to find an indoor pool doesn't have windows on you and stuff. The Ritz in Atlantic City, they have an enclosed indoor pool that can be shaded in some parts of the pool. And I don't know if it's year round or not, but I have been in it a few times at the invitation of friends who live there. It's a place I can recommend, even though I couldn't really visit people there anymore because they have a dress code in the lobby. How much clothing is on your body. And because I hot and sweaty in the summertime, and say I don't have a wrap with me, and my skirt doesn't start until here, do. According to their dress code, I would not be allowed even to visit a friend who invited me because I was exposed. And what am I going to do? Put something on my sweaty body that I got sunblock on me and I've got sweat, and I'm going to touch fabric on my sweaty, sticky body? No, I'm not going to do that. So that means I am not welcome in that establishment because of the rules. Because somebody who happens to be in the lobby going to his or her condo might be offended at a little bit of flesh exposed by an in-shape woman in the heat of the summer. What's the logic in it? But they do enforce this rule, and they even enforce it on men. There's a man who actually worked next door in the Tropicana, and he bought a condo there, right? And it was a hot summer day, and he was wearing a vest that was open, and his beer belly was sticking out, and everything. But still, the men, they could show a lot more than us chicks can, right? And they made him cover up because apparently showing skin in the common area is frowned upon if it's in Atlantic City. Now, I don't know if any of the other places are like that. And I've never seen casinos stop people that are walking in from bathing suits. Like I don't know that I've seen a full on bikini, even though I used to go when okay, on the other side of the Tropicana, there was a casino that's had different names for years. It's been the Hilton. It was the original Golden Nugget. It was it ended up becoming called the Atlantic Club, and they had a bar in the front called the Dizzy Dolphin. My mom shit a brick one time. I went there and had one drink. It was a Sex on the Beach, and it was $8 plus the tip. Okay, and they get the receipts and everything. And I had sticker shock too. But when you go to a bar, you're renting space to hang out and maybe check out the band, maybe check out other single people you just to impress, and you're thinking, hey, the music's great. Who knows? Maybe lightning could strike and you can meet a really attractive human. Could happen. I heard these things happen. I don't know if it happens in Atlantic City. I mean, you see the movies where people meet on the street somewhere, and I'm sure people have met here, but I don't know. I can't seem to meet people in New York City for some reason. I don't know why that is because people. Well, maybe at a bar or club is different, but again, it helps to know people. But when people are on the street, they're busy going someplace. And even if I'm walking around looking at tourist attractions and taking pictures of the graveyard next to Wall Street and the World Trade Center site, and then you got Chinatown, and you got Little Italy, and you got just so much to walk around and look at. But even though I see maybe lots of attractive people, especially those Japanese exchange students, man. Oh, but a lot of times if they don't speak English, they only talk to the people around them. And if they're traveling with their fellows from other countries, people tend to a lot of times keep amongst themselves. And maybe a lot of times they're thinking of their safety too, especially now with the anti-Asian hate and stuff. It's disgusting how some people people blaming people for COVID. It's like, blame Anthony Fauci and the gain of function research and all the funny bullshit. Blame people for lying this, and honestly, they don't know. But yeah, but you don't need to use anything as an excuse to hate innocent people. There's no need to be mean to people unless they personally deserve it. No need for that. You know, if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. You want to smoke me out, and you're not trying to do something untoward. Hey, let's party. You know, just let's respect each other. Like if I tell you that alcohol, I'm afraid of, please don't try to trick me into drinking alcohol or something. Oh, speaking of, I had this experience I'm really pissed off about. You know how when you open up a can of juice, a bottle of juice, you're supposed to refrigerate it afterward. Well, I kind of got um yes, thank you, and I'm sure those are the people that run it. And plus, they got a security guard there in the front desk, which I can understand. Hey, it's nice that they have somebody to maybe keep an unauthorized person from going up there and causing trouble. They have to make sure that you are approved by somebody that probably left a note on your desk. I like the idea of making the people that live there feel safe. You don't want some creepy person to track you down and barge in your home, right? Everybody deserves to feel safe. But that said, certain things like that, it's not like you're obscenely exposing yourself. And when you don't have a cover up and it's the summertime, there was a place I used to have breakfast. And I'm not going to name any names, especially about the religious affiliation of the Catholic Church that these nuns volunteered with. And they were sweet, wonderful people. And I used to go and have breakfast with them because breakfast, first of all, was the best breakfast in town. Second of all, I knew every woman trap friend I'm there, and I say that very affectionately. I talk shit, but I don't mean shit. I'm a bum too sometimes, and a bum is not a worthless person. It just a bum can be a person who likes to hang around and enjoy life, and maybe who values their time more than doing something that they hate for money, which is losing its value. And we're living in a society that's increasingly restricting how we can make our income, and is a society that's increasingly making our very existence illegal. It's like, okay, I'm grateful that weed is being legalized. Legalize it on a federal level so that if I end up in Texas, I don't get in trouble. They're starting to crack down in Austin, Texas, where a place that I was really thinking it would be fun to hang out because I understand it's really good for homeless people and they allow people to camp and all this stuff. Plus, the gun laws are good in Texas. Again, it's another subject I got to be careful about, but I do believe in the Second Amendment. Hello. I want to get a Gadsden flag. I don't know. I like the tree flag. The people they're trying to what they're doing to Alito. My God! You see, if they succeed in bullying Sam Alito into recusing himself for the things they want to be voting on, we're talking about here, then that means anybody who's remotely pro-Trump, they're going to deprive him of the right to vote. They're doing everything they can to screw with this man. And like Trump says, they're fucking with Trump. Well, I didn't say it that way because he's standing in the way that so they can't fuck with us. They're actually fucking with us. He's standing in the way. So we've got to do something. We need to have civil liberties and freedoms. And I know sometimes I get so sad when people talking about they love this country and it's a free country. And yes, I love this country. And yes, relatively speaking, it's a free country. But when we are told what kind of language we can and cannot say, and with this becomes the threat that they will shut us down. And the thing with YouTube, it's owned by Google, which is the largest search engine. So to be on YouTube is such a great thing. You can be found by the world here. YouTube is, I don't want to say it's a blessing because it sounds like I'm this whole lower stuff, and anybody who knows me knows that that's not where my head's at right now. Some of you maybe are, and I respect that. Set me on fire and we'll go. Okay. But if you police a person's language, that's the first step to controlling how they think. Because if you don't have words to express feelings and ideas, it's like they say the Inuit in up near the North Pole, the cold people, they have a whole lot of different names for snow and ice. So they have a much richer vocabulary for certain things. Now, if you start telling us English-speaking people, I'm not going to get into it with other languages. I'm sure it's the same thing because we're talking about the same country and the same laws. If we're restricted in what we're allowed to say, especially on social media, we can always whisper all kinds of concepts to our friends on the street and hope somebody doesn't have a wire or have, say, a ring doorbell. Did to Morgan Wallen when he had a couple of cocktails and he was with his friends and he was not being mean to any group. He was not calling anybody certain words. He was just talking to his buddies and you saw what happened to him. They kicked him out of the Grand Ole Opry for they stopped playing his music on most of the country radio stations. They fuck him. Excuse me. And that isn't right. And then finally he's getting radio airplay and stuff. And I've only probably heard about 3 or 4 or 5 of his songs because I'm trying very hard not to hear music I haven't heard before because I don't want anything to interfere with the music and the ideas are in my head because I don't want to rip anybody off and I want to make sure that what I create is as authentically me as possible. And I have the influences I had growing up, and I know the direction that my music has to be. It has to reflect my culture and who I am. And I want it to be the sort of thing ultimately you're going to be able to tell uh, 60s and 70s classic rock influences. Uh, Definitely a white chick is singing it because there's nothing wrong with embracing your identity. And if one thing this identity politics should teach all of us, that you know what, now is the time where it should be fashionable to explore who you are and find out about yourself. Hey, choose suck. I always have a problem pronouncing it in my mind. And sometimes I think chaos suck. And I do chaos. But anyway, it's a cool name and it's a username that I always see But yeah, shout out to anybody who ever dropped the roach that I found and my friends found. And some of my friends found so many roaches today. Choo, 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 choo. Oh, so they let Garfield out. I was hoping he was down visiting. Because, a lot of times he's different places and it doesn't mean he has to pee or shit. He hasn't been here that long. I'd like to think during the time he's outside, he should do all the business he can do, you know? But, see, now he's not going to trip out when he sees the cat. She's used to him. And she likes it when I tell her that he's hanging out in the kitchen and he likes to hang out in front of the stove. He likes to hang out underneath one of the tables. And if she thinks he's mousing, he already caught one mouse. And of course, I made him put it back and the mouse ran away. And this was in my room this last week. You know, I didn't tell my mother that. She would. Last time the Orkin man was here, he was trying to impress upon me that the mice really were not clean animals and that you shouldn't continue eating from something that they started to nibble on. I just cut the bite mark off. "2:53 a.m. Hope you're over 21. I'm saying this because YouTube wants me to kind of. I know some people that are really worried on live streams. One time I was on a friend's live stream and he had friends moderating for him, which occasionally it's nice to have a guest moderator on just in case some troll invades things and starts fucking with people. And for the most part, I really haven't had any problems with my live stream. Once or twice, I had some gamers coming, I think from a Twitch stream or something. And first of all, they hated Trump, okay, but they started with the ad hominem attacks and shit, and that got a little overwhelming. And that was a time when I wished that I would have had backup. But for the most part, I'm okay, you know. And but one of the things that got me real pissed off this week, and I don't think I got to talk about this. I got real disappointed, and I went on Facebook and I said, "Look, I'm having issues with one or two people on YouTube that they don't make videos themselves, and they've been targeting some of my videos, and I have my comments set to moderation. First of all, it's a way for me to never miss anything. Second of all, you can't sneak something past me. Say you try to dox me, even though YouTube gives us an option to have certain words that just can never get posted, so certain things that you make sure that nobody can get away with doing. So you have that, but and a lot of times even it has an additional thing. Click this may contain offensive words, but a lot of times the things that YouTube thinks are offensive, I think are silly. Or people just use a word like pussy, saying pussycat, or they'll say things where they'll have profanities, and I'm totally fine with. I love the word fuck. I love the word cunt. I love everything really, as long as you're not making jokes about things that are really, really disgusting, and there are certain things that are crimes against humanity that no, that's not for me. And I wouldn't allow bad people perpetuating bad or hate on my channel. But other than that, I allow for free speech. And even people can tell me how much Trump sucks and stuff, but just don't, you understand, like I don't go under Biden's stats. I just, I wouldn't even click on the video. I'm not going to bother other creators or people that are passionate about things that I hate. I'm not going to fuck with them because that's their channel. I'm going to butt out because I don't want people fucking with me. You know. Now, if there was a channel where somebody was spreading misinformation about cats and they tried to say that spaying and neutering was not good, and apparently now there was a piece done in one of the big New York papers where it was a total hit job, giving a whole bunch of lies about the benefits why we spay and neuter feral cats. Because if you catch and kill them, there's something called the vacuum effect. This is scientifically been documented for decades. Other cats are hungry and looking for females to mate with. Will just fill in that area, and so you will not get a reduction in your feral cat population. you just unnecessarily kill some cats. Because, people living here we all have a right to life. It's not like they're invading your house and stealing your food. Come on. So, Alley Cat Allies has been so wonderful. They have the Boardwalk Cat Project, and I will show you. I get newsletter. And if you donate to them a couple times a year, you get a really nice calendar that's good for 2 years. But they're an organization that 95% of every dollar you donate to them really does go to them, and it's an organization I do support. And anyway, they take care of all the cats here in Atlantic City. They have the Boardwalk Cat Project, and that's why you could see Garfield has the ear tip, so he's fixed. That beautiful cat, and I will never, if I get that cat, that's going to be his name, Heart Nose Cat, because it's got a heart nose, and he also is fixed. He's got the ear tip, and they like each other. They get along real good. And if I can get Heart Nose Cat to let me hold him and cuddle him and pick him up, it may take a while. I mean, he's really skittish. The last time, now I started to tell this because I'm stoned. I forgot where I was going. I saw Garfield and I saw Heart Nose Cat about 10 feet next to him, right? And I had an envelope full of cat food. And I'll take like this full of food so that I have some. If I see a hungry cat there, I'll just leave the pile behind and I'll stand till that cat eats. Because otherwise, sometimes more chase cats off, or you have these seagulls. Hey, and they will scare off birds. They'll dive. Cats. I've seen seagulls dive bomb and scare cats on sand dunes and on the beach and stuff. So if I'm feeding a cat like that, I will dump the food in front of it and I'll stand until the cat's eating all the food. But skittish and not letting me get near him. It's like, what the fuck is your problem? And this was, you could be seen by one of the main streets here where the cars are going back and forth between the casinos, right? And so anybody who didn't know might think, what's this crazy woman doing trying to pick up cats or whatever? It probably looked suspicious. Plus, I was wearing my MAGA hat. So I'm thinking, oh, great. People are thinking of a crazy Trumper messing with street cats or something. The bottom line, eat the food. I had a couple of pieces I put in front of Garfield. He ate them. And then he let me pick them up. Then I carried them home. So that's how I got Garfield uh, that day. But it's much easier. I much prefer to get him on the street than have to climb on somebody's porch to get him. A porch across from the main porch that he sometimes hangs out on. And this little Asian couple lived there. And the man was kind of in a grouchy mood. He did not expect to see a person there. I was trying to coax the cat out from near this bicycle that's chained to his railing, right? And this is not a high porch like the other porches where a cat sometimes hangs on the steps and stuff. This is a very low porch where the steps only go to maybe my hips, right? And then the railing starts, and there's a bicycle chain link to it, and Garfield sometimes hangs out near the bicycle. So I can't pick him up through the bicycle. I can't get his fat ass through the railing, okay? I have to get him to go to the steps so I can get him. And there's this guy who's kind of not happy that I'm there. But the good thing is he was carrying loads of laundry and finally put them in a basket. And he was taking it to, I guess there's a laundromat. I can't afford $9 to do a bunch of clothes. No, that's bullshit. So I saw that he was all the way down. I saw him on the right. He couldn't see me. And I was pretty sure they didn't have a camera except for a motion detector, which all it does is shine a light on you. And if you walk all the way in the middle of the street, it doesn't set it off. So I was able to get Garfield. He came over and carried him. But because I would think everybody knows by now, I always carry Garfield in my arms. I hold him. I walk half as slow as I usually do. I'm a fast walker, but with the cat, when you're walking where there's traffic, busy traffic, the last thing you want to can and jump in traffic. So I got a hold on him, and he's a hold on to. Because there's a lot to that cat. And but he sheds like anything. I feel like I can go away and join the circus and be a hairy one. You know, but it just feels so refreshing out there because there's enough of a breeze to duck under somebody's hoodie to light your weed, right? but not so much that you needed a jacket or something. I saw people in bikini tops. I saw people on the beach much later than they usually hang out. I don't know if anybody got in the water because I'm sure the water it must be cold as anything. And I didn't see any lifeguards open. I'm sure that they don't. None of them are on duty. I don't know. Maybe a few of them are. I can't think if they always clock out at 6 p.m. and I can't be in the water even at 5:30 because the sun, even on an overcast day, it brings out freckles, it burns, and I already got a sunburn on my hands and my face at the Trump rally. And this is very dangerous for me. Matter of fact, I think I may have gotten sun poisoning a couple of days ago because I got some blisters back here, and that's not good. You know, with skin cancer can you increase your chances of getting it every time you get these blistering burns. And my father, he used to sell ice cream on the beach when I was a kid. That's how he met my mom. I told you guys the story. The very Jim Whalen, who now Boardwalk Hall is named after Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. Jim Whalen was a lifeguard near Caesars, present day Caesars, and my mom was trying to read a book, mind her own business. My father was the ice cream man. My father took a look at mom. He liked what he saw. She said, "Maybe you'll not let me read my book. I'm going to ask the lifeguard." And the lifeguard, Jim Whalen, said, "Oh," to my mom, "my father's a good man." They ended up going out and fell in love, and the rest. So I'm so glad that Jim Whalen, he grew to be a really great person in the city. He taught a lot of school kids how to swim. They had this thing called Whalen's Whales. He taught kids in some of the schools up in the inlet, mostly black and brown students. Taught them in this Olympic-sized pool at the West Side Complex. That's where I learned to swim. In sixth grade, I learned to swim there. Oh, and I'll never forget when the teacher made me jump feet first down the deep end. She actually pushed me in, and it was so magical. I went buoyant, I shot down, and I shot right back up. And once that went off in my head, I got over my fear of the water, and swimming was easy for me. But that said, the undertow, which is now called rip current, that's a very real thing. Whenever they say that there's rip current out there in the water, please don't go in. Always swim in front of a lifeguard, please. My mom almost drowned one time because she got pulled out to sea, and this was when she was still dating my father, or maybe the first year she was married. I don't know. But she hasn't been past her ankles since. She hasn't feared of age. I call it a very healthy respect. But you know what? If staying out of it means you're not going to go drowning, okay. Because what happened is when the lifeboat went to get her, her head hit up against the boat, and she ended up inhaling a lot of water, and it pumped her stomach and all that stuff. And she went through a lot, and it was a very yucky experience. And then, when she quit smoking, my mom, she cold turkey quit tobacco when I was 6. And they didn't have patches and pills and all these different things that they have now. They may have had hypnosis. I don't know. She cold turkey because the doctor had told her she got a pneumonia and she was sick for like a whole week. And her lungs were aching, and her doctor scared her by saying, "If you want to live to see your little girl grow up, you have to quit smoking." And she did. And that's another reason why she's not too gung ho on air conditioning, by the way, because she says that it actually can make her feel uncomfortable. So that's another excuse. It's not just that it raises your electric too much. I'm going to smoke a little bit more weed if you don't mind. This is, I'm thinking, I don't know if I should go back out there and look for him, or whether I should just, when I'm done with the stream, call it a night and get him in the daytime. Because really, it's more fun to have him when I'm awake and stuff. But the other hand, if I go out there and there's a whole bunch of people out there and they're all on the porches, I'm not going to take him on the porch where there's a whole family of 5 or 6 people. Unless they say, "Hey, you want to film with the cat or something?" I'm trying to keep a low profile. It's hard to imagine this, but I really am. Because, you can't kid yourself that everybody that smiles at your face is your friend. Um, And it would be really scary to find out that some people are actually just trying to pump you for information. So I try to not say too much. Oh boy. You know what some people say? If you don't cough, you don't. So this lipstick here is if anybody, possibly people watching the rebroadcast, if anybody's interested, especially my old makeup tutorials, this is my current eyebrow color. And I just cover my natural eyebrows that really do look like this, and this is the brush. And this I put on my eyelids first, and I put the powder eyeshadow on top using whatever brush. This is for the blue, and this is for the off-white. And this is current, my current mug, and this is my prior mug. I know this is a weird frame. This holds my tools, and this is what I use to cut chocolate cake. And I could show you this without spilling anything. This is the other, these are all been meticulously hand washed by yours truly, and I'm storing them above my radiator at the edge of this wall that you can't see. And that way no critters can get at them. So I think I showed you this, right? I paid $1 for this at the Trump rally. Um oh I'm very pleased to tell you something. I had thought when I was there that I had lost this $50 Visa gift card that I brought with me in case I had a chance to spend money on good merch at a good price, of course, right? And the only thing I really bought was that long sleeve Never Surrender shirt that I shown you guys. I washed that and I put that away for safekeeping so it won't get dingy. It's white, you gotta be careful with. I hope I didn't fuck this up with too much sweat. But I had thought that I dropped this gift card someplace, and I was so bummed out about it. And I hadn't written down the card numbers, which you could freeze them if you hadn't used them or whatever. And I even called somebody had given me the phone number for the Lost and Found, the Beach Patrol, City Wildwood, all that stuff. And I left some phone number messages and all this bullshit. And I'm so bummed out, thinking $50, that's a lot of money, especially to a person like me that takes a long time to make money and stuff. And it's like I was just so bummed out. And then I'm thinking, well, it's somebody's lucky grounds, right? I'm bumming out, right? But then something interesting happened. Oh, okay. want to show you guys. This is a backpack I took when I went to the rally. Now, most of this stuff I didn't have on me when I was hanging out doing whatever. I had this in the safekeeping of a friend who took me there. She kept it in her car. Okay, she didn't even put it in her hotel room, or maybe she did. I don't know because I didn't even see the room until after the rally was over. Because I was waiting in line, I was partying. All the footage that you've seen so far, I was out there doing that, and I wanted to have as little as possible so that I didn't have anything. I thought of, you don't want to have a bunch of shit. I had my notebook, which I'm proud to say I'm still writing. I'm still writing. I'm back to writing again. I'm so happy I'm writing. It says, all things are possible. So, anyway, one of the things I did, I've been watching a lot of travel safety videos. I like YouTube experience, like to talk about the things they know. And even though I don't do airplane traveling internationally, safety is safety. Pickpockets and stuff, and there are people who you don't realize that all of a sudden, oh, my money's gone. Is a busker. I always think about having a money pouch that's physically attached to me and is small enough that it doesn't really attract a lot of attention. And maybe if it's kind of dangling a little bit, I can stud belt. I really like a stud belt. The thing is, they were scratching a lot of the paint finish on the back of my acoustic guitar. And that's kind of fucked up. But it's a good thing to begin with. But anyway, I'm tripping out on this money, right? And I realized I had taken I took a used $50 card with me, right? And then I took the brand new one. I took the brand new one though, and instead of having it in this where the other card was, I hid it on myself in this backpack so that I would have another place so that if I was ripped off, right? So anyway, it was zipped up in here, and of course, the only time I needed anything that I didn't have on me is when I got leg cramp to go back to the room and get me my pills, and they were in my little. I'll show you. This I used had the most important thing in it. It had things from rings that I never did put on because I'm thinking again of a metal detector, extra safety pins, my facial cleanser, reading glasses, underarm deodorant, and earplugs, and I think a few loose aspirin and sinus pills were in this bottle here. But the most important thing is my leg cramp stuff. Okay, and let me show you what that stuff is. The company that makes it is called Highland, and this is a homeopathic treatment. It's not a cure. It's not a preventative, but when the symptoms are happening, you don't even need to have liquids, even though you really should be hydrated. But you take these and you stick them under your tongue. They're called sublingual. And you go from 1 to 3, and the symptoms go away. But I didn't have them on me, and I'm out doing a camp out. And oh my god! And it happened. It was embarrassing because there's all these people around me, and I don't want to attract attention to myself. And it's shooting up my leg, and then sometimes it hits me in the sides. Your obliques, which is I was never able to get into running because I would get, they call them side stitches. Always be right here. And then what they call the shin splint. And the thing is, I always thought that running gave you that skinny body that I was great, right? But one time when I was working for WZXL, I would occasionally do this outdoor stuff. Sometimes they dress you in a cute outfit, like this guitar or dress I wore one time for the beer and music festival. That was such a fun gig. Watching all these people with their little plastic beer steins, drinking all these beers are all over, and they had these really good bands. And I got to hang out at the entrance to. They had this pit right next to the stage, and it had these real comfortable beanbag chairs, and it had all these record albums that lined the radio station, and it just so this cool place to hang out, and they had foosball games, and they had just all these different kind of games and stuff, and it was free to hang out in, and it was just if you like rock music, if you like classic rock music, maybe even a little punk rock music, but it was mostly rock and classic rock. Now modern rock because WZXL plays modern rock. Probably they play half music I might not even know, and I have to avoid music that I'm not sure I know because again I'm working on my own stuff. But anyway, I had to have my friend go back and retrieve these pills for me and come back to me, and I'm so glad that she ultimately did because that was like 4 different times. I mean, it was like it kept on happening and everything. But once I had the pills that took care of things, and there was always somebody there that had coffee. Occasionally, somebody would show up, and then some guy had Pop Tarts, and some lady had hot tea, and they had lemon in it, and she even had honey, and it was just so cool. And the guy that was playing the country music, he would ask people if they wanted to play anything different. I said, no, you play what you're playing. I thought, I love that country music. That's just, it really works. And it fit. And I hope that my videos have given you at least some feeling for how it was during the hangout and wait for the Donald Trump rally. It was really an experience that I'm so glad I had, and the people I got to meet. And I certainly love the fact that I got to meet some live streamers who have a good respect and who've been following all these other Trump rallies. I really would have loved to have been in the Bronx, but I'll be honest with you, I have never been in the Bronx before. And when they were saying that it was going to be the Black Trump rally, I'm thinking right away, well, I'm not black. I don't think I belong there, right? And I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't like getting lost. New York City is a big place. I've been in Brooklyn a couple of times, and only the part of Brooklyn I've been in the Brooklyn Chinatown, and I've been in the part of Brooklyn that's very close to the bridge. I forget what the subway was, like the O subway or something. But there's this bar called Duff's Brooklyn. They have the best jukebox. Oh man, the best music, and they have softcore porn, Japanese anime on screens above, but there's no sound on them. Like I said, jukebox, badass. Oh my god. The only problem is if you are a friend of Bill W, if you don't drink anymore, places like that are kind of dangerous because they don't have a dance floor. Okay, so all there is to do really is drink. Now, people do sometimes step out onto the front and smoke weed. And the great thing is, if you're still there when bars technically close, the guy just locks the door and people stay inside and they party. And that was so awesome. And the place, Duff's Brooklyn, is lined with all this rock memorabilia, specifically metal and pertaining to New York City metal bands, and with a focus on some typo negative. I love that band. That's why I started going to Brooklyn. Peter Steele died, and they had memorials there. And I got into him when I was in Hollywood, and he very rarely went to the West Coast. I only got to see him 3 times before he died. Typo is just one of those bands that just I think takes your breath away, and it was the soundtrack for some really important things that happened to me personally in Hollywood. The things that were very fun and very wonderful, and the memories that nobody can take from you. So yeah, but next time I will make sure it's something like that I always have on me. But in the end, it worked out well. So it is now 3:21, and I'm gonna call this a night because probably people are asleep and it doesn't need to go on too long. But I had a really great night, and I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day weekend. Please stay safe, and remember that tomorrow, Monday, is a legal holiday, so everything is closed. So just be safe where you are. Oh, and watch out if you're in Tornado Alley. There have been so many people in the Midwest. Just be safe. Pay attention to your weather. Have your weather alerts turned on. Please have a safe spot. Duck for cover. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.